Kenny Deery, Chief Executive of the Galway Chamber of Commerce, joins us. Kenny, since we spoke a little under 2 weeks ago, how are things in Galway?
Things are coming along nicely, Keith. I think we're seeing around the city and around indeed our towns as well, more shutters are opening. There's a bit more of a buzz. There's queues. We're now into queue management issues, which is a good complaint because a few weeks ago there weren't queues. And I think bit by bit, confidence of individuals is coming back as they're dipping their toe in the water, and clearly we have a long way to go. And I think the environment has changed in the last 2 weeks, Keith, as well. We now have potentially a programme for government, and if it's approved, we'll have a July stimulus package that I know as a just chamber, we were on calls last night with Chambers Ireland, and it's lobbying as to what's going to feed into that really important stimulus package, because we know a lot of good has been done so far, but there's a hell of a way to go. As an example, the wage subsidy scheme is so important to all the businesses around Galway at the moment in terms of keeping key staff on board. We know it's extended to the end of August, but we had a call with Minister for Finance Pascal Donoghue last week where some degree of testing is going to come into that. So we need to understand what that is, try and influence it as much as possible and see how we go. So there's the national issue, but also, Keith, there's the local challenges, and I know you've been engaging with City Council no more than myself, and indeed many other business groups around town. But we've been doing a lot of work, and I'm delighted to say that one of our members, Medtronic, have come on board as a partner to help facilitate conversations with business groups so that we can have very structured inputs and feedbacks into the mobility team, Keith. So a lot of progress is taking place there, and really it's trying to help prepare businesses for the enormity of the task ahead for themselves. This isn't just something that has happened and we're now reopening after it. No. Something we're living beside, and I think it's to share the knowledge and the expertise that the likes of Medtronic have gained, because as you know, and your listeners, they're outside civil service, they're the biggest employer in not just Galway but the Western region, so they've travelled a journey. And we had a session, we had about 60 businesses on the session in addition to the mayor and indeed some political representatives as well on Tuesday, Keith, and that was trying to structure a conversation around, first of all, the behaviours of customers and staff, why we should adhere to the procedures. And I think that's the bit that we can't lose sight of, even though everyone has COVID-19 fatigue at this stage. At the same time, we just have to think of every other user of a premises or users of our city. Yeah. We've the processes and the physical work, so there's another session next week digging deep into what are the physical changes that are going to be needed outside businesses. What are the challenges, but also what are the solutions? Because I think a lot of those solutions are within ourselves. It's not, the City Council have certainly, I know the mobility team have received a lot of representation. Some groups have been very organised in terms of what they're saying, but then others are only coming to the fore. Yesterday, for example, the Galway Autism Partnership engaged with ourselves and said, listen, for their members and their families and indeed other groups along the disability spectrum, they haven't really factored in the way that they should yet in terms of these conversations, and that will certainly be a big input into what we're talking next week. So you answered a very straightforward question, how have things moved? I think a lot of change has taken place, but there's a hell of a way to go so far.
We'll touch base with you again next week, but Kenny, thank you for joining us today on the programme. Kenny Deery from the Galway Chamber of Commerce there.